what you want to bring. Uncle Bean's Coffee is your restaurant or your coffee place and soon to be restaurant. So we'll talk about that as well. I wanted to go over a thing about being positive. And when I walked into the room, the energy was great. And you're contagious with your smile and you're doing it right now. And I had a meeting the other day, 2 days ago, with my company about keeping the positive energy because, you know, during these times we can get negative about back orders or whatever. And I gave all my employees permission to call me out because sometimes I can be the worst one. But it is what it is at this point in our lives, and we got to work hard and go for it, you know. And we're trying to stay positive and not use negative words, no back words. It's just extended lead times for what you want. So that's what we're using right now. I wanted to give a shout out to my mom. Yeah, so
I was gonna say this.
Yeah, shout out to my mom. So my mom watched the show, and then she called me right afterwards and said, I like the show.
Clean up the potty language.
She said, clean up the language. She said it wasn't necessary and that we were more articulate and intelligent than that.
Oh, that's good to know because I was going to ask if I could cuss.
Yeah, you can cuss.
You can.
I'm trying to get better at this.
I need to be better too,
so I'm trying not to fucking cuss. So I am trying to get better. This show isn't meant for kids all the time, so we are going all in. We don't know Jack. It's kind of an adults only show, so if you're at work, put your headphones in, or probably not around kids. But we're trying to clean it up so we can get this broader audience that we're starting to see. And Matt's story was great, and we want to be able to share it with everybody, not just people that are offended by cussing, or not offended by cussing. So good morning. Nico, you got something to chime in on?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you haven't had a chance to see Matt's story, yes. Matt is a buddy of ours. He talks about a near-death experience with an aneurysm. Actually, I think the medical term is AVM,
Yes.
But we have shortened that down to actually a 30-minute clip, so you don't have to watch the full hour with all the fluff. You can just go in to our YouTube page, see the video of Matt talking about this story, and I think that's incredibly powerful. We thought,
yes, incredibly powerful, and I'd like to put together a short film. We'll have Beverly, his wife, come on. It's one of Rusty's best friends as well, and tell her side of the story because she could probably give a lot more technical details than Matt. It was an emotional experience for him, but his story was great. Yeah, definitely check that out. Speaking of positivity, Rusty, the most positive person. Tell us about Uncle Beans. Introduce yourself, Nico. Let's bring her.
Oh no! We gotta hit her with some lightning round.
Oh wait!
First. Yeah.
One other thing. Shout out to Mom because I want to preface something on last episode we did, and I'm gonna ask you real quick. Best rapper / actor, and I knew she watched the show because she texted me LL Cool J, and I'm like, what the hell does this even mean? You know?
Do you know what we're talking about?
It was best rapper / actor.
Who's the best?
That's acting.
Yeah, like a rapper that turned actor who has made it the best,
yeah,
right?
So she texted me LL Cool J, and I was like, what does that mean? She goes, I watched the podcast, and then she said potty language.
You think it's LL Cool J? I mean, I still think LL Cool J is good, but like we came up with Cube. And then
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube is good.
But then we said Will Smith if you consider him.
If you consider Fresh Prince,
yeah, he's like pop.
What about Marky Mark? You know?
Yeah, I don't know about Marky Mark, but LL Cool J was funny. And then she said Snoop Dogg, and she's like, I really like how chill he is. And
yeah,
I made a comment about he's probably pretty chill.
Yeah. He does a Martha. Was it Martha White?
Martha.
Oh yeah,
not Martha White. Martha Stewart. Yeah.
He does a couple funny shows with people smoking and stuff. I seen one with the guy.
They do like a holiday show.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to break the ice real quick. So, I do have just a couple of lightning round questions for Rusty. So, this is one that I pretty much ask every guest. Are you more afraid of rats or roaches?
Oh. I mean, it's nothing for me to see a roach go by. I don't squeal, but if I saw a rat, rats.
Rats?
Yeah.
There's no wrong answer. There's not really any right answer either.
No, I think we live in Texas, and so roaches are more common. So you don't pay as much mind.
As is New York, they're everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they still freak me out. Okay. Favorite place you've traveled to?
Oh, this is I haven't been very many places, but I really loved Colorado. I've come to find that I'm a mountain girl versus beach.
So. Mountains versus beach.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about this? I see a ton of your stories on IG where you have the dogs.
Yes.
In the pictures. We'll talk about that at some point. But are you a dog or cat person?
Come on now.
Yeah. I knew, but they don't know. They don't know.
I'm a cat person.
Cat person.
I love dogs.
In fact, actually, before we came on, Rusty was just telling us about how she's basically become the rescuer of cats.
I don't think this is new. Rusty's been saving cats forever.
Yeah, it's old news, but it's just current.
Yes.
It's very current right now.
And how many cats did you have recently?
Well, we're working with a colony of 17. But
Woo!
I had 10 at my house, and so that was a little chaotic and wild.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
10 cats.
But God bless her. She loves the animals and wants to help take care of them, and I think people take advantage of that.
Yes, but I also love the joy of finding the perfect owner with the animal. That is also like happy for me. Like I'm happy when they are able to get a pet, a forever friend. So it's not just for the animal; it's for people too, because everybody needs a cat.
Everybody
needs a cat.
I
I wasn't a cat person, but I ended up with a cat named Mocha, and I ended up getting a bond.
You love him or her?
It was a him, but I always called it a her. I don't understand why. I think I relate cats to
girls.
being feminine. Yeah, it's weird. But he was cool, and he was kind of like a dog. He really was.
Yeah.
So, I liked him a lot.
How did you come up with the idea for Uncle Beans? Like, how did we arrive?
Yeah, let's
What
talk
is
about
Uncle Beans first?
Tell us about Uncle Beans.
How would you explain that to somebody?
Well, so Uncle Beans is a coffee shop located in the Heights.
Uncle Beans, shout out.
Uncle Beans.
You want to do a little shot of Uncle Beans?
Yeah. What do we got here?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Is it about the beans?
Cheers.
Like, is it really
It is
all
totally
about
about the beans. It makes such a huge difference. And so we use Jiva coffee that especially roasts our blend for us. And I went through a hell of a time trying to find the perfect blend. I tried probably about 40 to 50 different coffees before I settled on this one to be our house. Okay. And so my biggest thing for our house coffee is that I wanted something that was versatile, that you could also pop into the espresso machine and pull a shot from, and that I could also do cold brew concentrate with. So some of them aren't as versatile. Like, it's great as a drip coffee with cream and sugar, but you wouldn't want to drink it by itself in a shot of espresso. So I wanted something, especially because Uncle Beans is so small, that I wasn't having to get 4 different types of coffee.
So on one of those terms I didn't really understand. Cold
brew concentrate?
Oh, cold brew concentrate.
Yeah. So
is that like nitro brew, or no? That's something totally different.
So nitro brew is just like adding the gas. It's a different method. But it's cold brew is steeping. It's the 24-hour process of steeping coffee and pulling it and then mixing it with water, and it's made from concentrate, so it's got the kick to it.
So what do you call this that you brought us today?
Drip.
This is
house brewed coffee.
House brewed coffee, and so I guess I'm just unfamiliar with coffees. So I guess normally you couldn't do an espresso and a house and a cold at the same time, or.
Well, you can. It all
bean?
comes from the same bean.
Okay.
It's the different roast profiles. So. You don't want something too dark. So a lot of places traditionally do like a darker roast because most people are going to add cream and sugar to it. I typically don't want something so dark if I'm drinking a straight shot of it. Out of an espresso machine, I want something a little bit more medium to where it's not like doesn't taste like an ashtray. Because the darker you go, it gets kind of ashier, and so. I just needed that right balance of in between to where I could make it as a cold brew where you could add cream and sugar, but it's good on its own as well. So
I live in the Heights and pretty close to Rusty's new location or her first location. It is the hot spot.
It really is.
Yeah, tell us about it. Like, I've been there, my mom's been there, and my mom vouched for it. She said she had the best time. It was one of the coolest coffee shops that she's been to. So. It's in the Heights. It's smack down on Houston
Avenue.
Yeah, so show us, where's it at? Tell us about it. Tell us about the building, because I think it has a very unique story as well. And also, what else are we doing at Uncle Beans? Because there's some other projects you have going on, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
I'm correct.
So that all came to be. I live 2 streets over from where Uncle Beans is located on Houston Avenue in Bayland. So I've been in the Heights for like 12 years. Worked in the restaurant and bar industry. I did work at a coffee roaster for a short term, which did help me very much. But
is that where you got the idea?
No, I actually had a really negative experience. So I said I would never.
You knew what not to do.
Yeah, I said I would never be in coffee again. So it's kind of ironic. I think sometimes when you put those kinds of words out there, you're like, oh, I'll show you.
I'll never.
Yeah.
The universe comes in.
Right. But I lived a couple streets over. Me and my boyfriend were walking, and we saw this old rundown gas station. It was a used car lot at one point. It was a used car wash.
Oil change, maybe?
Yeah, it had been several things, but it was a dump, and nobody had put any money into it, and we just saw the potential of it. Well, I didn't really see it. Ruben saw it, and he was like, we could do a little coffee shop there. I think it's just because he said coffee shop, and I said no immediately. And then, like, I thought about it, and I was like, maybe we could do that.
Yeah.
And it just was about timing. So I had just left the Creeks. I'd been with them for 10 years, on and off, but I had been there for a good chunk of my, 20s and 30s.
And you're explaining to us the Creeks is
it's an established
bar.
Yeah, bar and restaurant in the Heights.
All over.
They've got like 5 of them.
Okay.
And I'm really grateful for all the experience that I had. I kind of grew up with the Creeks, but I did a lot of the events and stuff, and they're really community oriented. So that's kind of where I got into doing like markets and whatnot. But I had walked by and he said yes. I said no. Then my uncle, ex-step uncle, Eddie, he had just retired, and he was talking to my ex-stepmom, Kristen, who I'm so close with, Cody's mom. You know how the family works. We're all still related in some way or another. But she was saying that he was wanting to retire and was looking for something to invest in, and this all happened within the same week. And I scheduled a meeting with him, and I just kind of didn't even have like a real business plan together, but I just said, I think we could do this, and he was like, let's go for it. And we called, and the lease was gone. And so I was pretty upset.
The lease was gone.
I was pretty upset. It was supposed to be a cigar bar, and the city rejected it.
Good.
And so the day that the sign went back up on the building, I called, and I got it that same day. And that was August of 2018. And
how long before you opened up?
We weren't able to open until May.
Just so y'all know, in the Heights where she's at is the most beautiful place in the Heights. It's where
really
the lights
cool.
in the Heights are. A lot of people have probably been to that.
It's a historic
The oak
area.
trees around there are just magnificent. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So if y'all aren't familiar with Houston Avenue, we'll put all the information up on where to find Uncle Beans and the new location, which we're going to probably preface into next, which we're really excited for. And tell us more about the Heights area, because I know you grew up there and you've built a reputation in that community. You do a lot of philanthropist work and charity work. And part of No, but there's a lot of other things that you're involved in that I think are very important. And being
definitely.
a powerful woman entrepreneur, you've done a lot more than just run the coffee shop.
Yeah, I did just see you have something coming up with like a holiday.
Yeah, we're doing a toy drive on the 28th. So my biggest thing, one of the things that I did learn from being in the Creeks for so long was just having events and doing stuff with the community. But part of my, I'm sober. I've got almost 7 years, and part of that is giving back to my community. And so I really, really wanted to focus on, giving back in a huge way. And I thought that I was going to be doing more work towards like women's health and recovery, but it turned out to be cats and animals. We've really worked a lot with animals, which is really fun though, because the community really loves to participate. And if you've ever been to our page and seen our stories, we take more pictures of dogs.
Yeah, how did that come into, like, how did y'all start doing that? Like, do y'all serve dogs?
Yes, we do. So we serve them Pepper's Delights.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
So hold on, let me see if I can zoom in on this, because when she said she was a cat person, I just wanted to
Pepper's Delights?
Puppers.
Pupper's Delights.
Yes, like Rapper's Delight,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is Napoleon, my French bulldog, and he's got some pups, or he's drinking some water after the pups. So
now, is the dog drinking this coffee?
No, this is not coffee. This is water. The place has it's all set up for dogs. It's super dog friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, super dog friendly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just you can have whatever you want in your mind of what you're going to serve your community, but at the end of the day, the community is going to tell you what you're going to do, And so
No, it's good that you're in tune to that.
Yeah,
so many people try to force something else. Instead of
the
listening,
craziest thing, like, especially with the
how can I
pandemic.
serve this community?
Yes,
Yeah.
like you have to be versatile and you have to be able to bend and you have to be able to bend your brand to accommodate and to fulfill what other people want. And like, you know, I wasn't necessarily going into doing Fruity Pebble lattes and,
Dude,
you
those
know,
things look delicious.
This
Yes.
is not a Starbucks.
Yes.
This is a real coffee shop.
but I
You
mean,
gotta see those
people
pictures.
love it. And
Yeah.
so I just, you know, that's become part of the fun of it is like, what
Yeah.
menu are we going to come up with next? And
Hey,
then,
you got marshmallow.
Yes.
Marshmallows.
yeah, so we get crazy with it. And I've had a lot of fun in creating that. And I get a lot of inspiration from ice cream. And,
it looks like
yeah, you know, but it's just, the biggest thing that, for me in that area is that there's a lot of coffee shops that I really admire and respect, and like I've learned a lot from them, and I enjoy going to personally. But there's a lot of coffee shops in that area that aren't approachable for, you know, the mom with her 3 kids and her dog in the car, you know, and that's what we kind of found that's who we need to attract. We need the families, the moms and dads, and they need to be able to have an option besides Starbucks. And before, you know, a couple of these other places popped up, we were one of the only ones in the Heights in that area with a drive-through.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, obviously that served us well through the pandemic, but it brought us a whole nother audience of people that, you know, didn't have to go to Starbucks anymore. And I'm no shame to, I'm not saying anything bad about Starbucks. I still go to Starbucks when I have to. It's convenient, you know.
Just to use the restroom.
Yeah, no, I go and I do research, and I mean, I am out in the burbs. Sometimes I have to do a Starbucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of leads me to where we're opening up a second location in Cypress, and that's because they need coffee out there,
They do.
and they need a good coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this before we talk about the Cypress location. Already in your mind, are you thinking of additional locations?
Like 5, 6.
Are you really?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
7.
Very cool.
Yeah. As a franchise opportunity, or do you want to run all 5 yourself, or tell us?
So
tell us
I
about
definitely want to run 5 myself.
Okay.
If the opportunity strikes at some point to be bought out, then, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, you know.
that.
Money
Money talks.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about, at the end of the day, like, the biggest, I say at the end of the day all day long, so I need to stop saying that. But one of the biggest things I get to take away from this is giving back to my family, you know, and what I've been being able to do this with my dad. That's been the coolest part. And so my main focus is to make sure that he has a retirement that is worthy of the work that he's done in his life. You know, like he's been the hardest worker that I've ever known, and has been the best dad. You know, obviously you guys know how close me and my dad are, and all the bullshit that he's put up with from me over the years.
We know Rusty's dad really well. We know what he's been through, and he's awesome. He's a veteran, and we saw that you did a veteran special for him, and Rusty's dad is so awesome. We love him to death. He was kind of a second father to us all growing up, and go back. I wanted to show. I kind of went mind blank.
Nice, Kevin.
I kind of went mind blank, but I was going to pull this up because I wanted to talk about. This is my great production here. So I wanted to talk about this because this is what we're drinking today.
Okay.
So I was going to go through some of your products.
Sure,
I had
yeah,
to bring
let's
forward.
do it.
Well, I told you guys I'm doing my best to produce this show. So
You're doing great.
I'm a little nervous too. Rusty said she was nervous and made me nervous, but this is what we're drinking this
I'll tell you
morning.
what didn't help is all this coffee we've been
Yeah,
Right.
like
I slowed my roll.
I'm super jittery, guys, so that my hands are kind of off. But this is some of your products I wanted to show, and then I want to hear all about the Cypress location.
Okay.
So what is this? This is what we're drinking today. This is a big, giant box of coffee, and I think we've almost finished it.
Yeah, you really put a dent in it. I thought there was
I don't
going to
even
serve
think
8
there's anything
people.
in it.
There's not. It's empty.
So that's 96 ounces. It typically serves 8.
Nice.
And
So
these are great to be able to order from if you're going to a meeting or you've got something
Hold
like
that
today.
up so they can see how big it is.
I don't know where
It's-
I'm
you're
going.
right there.
96
It's
ounces.
bigger than her head. It's
Yes.
huge.
Close
Not that you
to.
have a big head.
No, it's close to.
Do y'all have a lot of people that swing by and grab
We do,
coffee in the
and they
morning
call
for-
ahead of time, and so
Okay.
we always recommend that you call ahead of time to order one of these. We also do a lot of stuff for the school in the neighborhood, the elementary, and so if you call ahead of time, we usually can serve anywhere from 100 to 200 people. We'll be doing the Lights in the Heights is coming up. We'll be doing the
So Christmas is coming, and then we have gift cards available up here, so we can get gift cards. All that information will be in the description below. It's a great gift for your family members, not only for the coffee but for the experience. So We also got some of the great food that you serve.
Yes.
I've eaten there several times. It's very healthy and very good. I don't
Yes.
eat there enough.
Not
obviously.
always though. Like one time, like I've sent her a message. I was like, "Holy cow! Like, how do I get these pastries that you're putting out on these pictures?
Yes.
Because they look ridiculous." You know.
Some of them are ridiculous,
Yeah.
but you gotta live.
Yeah,
So.
you gotta live. So what do we got here?
That's a shot of espresso.
Yes, and it's very good.
Yes.
Very good. This is the family atmosphere. It's always a good
So
time.
we've got a kids menu.
Did you get these people's
Yeah, so this is Jimmy, Joe,
Yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
and Kara.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you should.
And
say
that's
that.
We got
Bubba.
the
That's
dogs.
Bubba.
I think
the
that's
dog.
whiskey, actually.
Whiskey, that is
He's a
whiskey.
regular.
Whiskey. Mm-hmm.
So we got all kinds of hors d'oeuvres. What is this?
We don't serve that anymore, but
Okay,
we do
so
serve
we'll take that
kombucha
off.
from another local company.
What is this beautiful thing here?
So this is a frozen dreamsicle, and this was something that I took from kind of, I'm going to have to say, working from the Greeks for all those years. That they did a frozen mimosa, and I kind of put a spin on it. And
What's in this?
so it's got classic white frappe powder.
Oh,
which
this is coffee.
No, this is not coffee.
Oh.
This is just delicious.
Oh, okay.
So-
This is just delicious.
Oh, you said frappe. That's how.
It tastes
I
just
don't
like
know
a
much about
dreamsicle. Like if back in the day, if you ate
Yeah,
one of
the
those,
ice cream.
orange bars
Yeah.
with the cream in the middle, that's exactly what it tastes like, but probably a little bit better. So
Yeah.
it hits pretty hard.
It sounds
it's
delicious.
really good. So there's
Yeah.
we have a lot of people that don't drink coffee, and we have to have an option. Plus the kiddos love that.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it
Yeah.
is a family
Yeah, and we
establishment.
do
The kids-
smoothies
yeah.
too. So to
Here,
appeal to
kids,
those.
take this triple shot of
Yeah.
espresso. You know?
Yes.
Oh, it's great.
Here's
Yes.
all the information of the show and her logo there.
So the thought about Cypress location, obviously you were thinking expansion, but specifically when it came to like this one's going to be a place where you can come in to sit down and you're going to have a larger kitchen area. Was it always on your mind that I wanted to serve more food options?
Yeah. So I definitely wanted to have a cafe style.
This is exciting. I did not know this part about the new location, so this is really,
Oh, okay,
really
yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
No, it is. It's 3,000 square feet. We're currently 300 square feet. We're not.
3,000 to 300.
It's
So this
literally
is a
10
little big,
times, yeah, bigger.
bigger place.
A lot of people are surprised when they come to Uncle Bean's on the Heights and they find out that we don't have an indoor seating. I've actually got like Yelp reviews that we don't. It's
I looked at some of your reviews
Yeah.
and people complained about some weird stuff.
Yeah, but most of them are all 5-star. But the things that they do complain about are things that are out of control, like we don't have an indoor seating or a kitchen. And
Hey, what? I hate you guys. The sky's blue.
Yeah.
right, that kind of stuff.
Sorry.
So we did want to find a second location where I could get more creative with the menu and do food. Obviously, we want to double the experience. I do want to eventually branch out into the third location and do beer and wine.
Oh, wow.
I have a lot of history in working with that, and so does Ruben. So we had originally wanted to do that for this location, but we share a fence line with Cypress Christian Academy.
Yeah. That's
no,
a no-no.
No, but at the same time, we're right across the street from 2 churches. There's soccer fields. There's 2 high schools nearby, the elementary. So
And all those people need to drink.
they all need,
Right.
they all need coffee and smoothies and dreamsicles, and they all have dogs they need to bring up for a pupper's delight. So. I wasn't looking for a Cypress location. I was looking for a location, but I wasn't looking for it in Cypress.
But you're kind of in that area, or you were at some point.
Well, yeah, my family lives
your
out
family.
there,
Okay.
and I said no to the burbs, just like I said no to the whole idea.
But I think it's unique that you're bringing that to the burbs because I think that's what's missing. So one of the reasons that we moved to the Heights is because we don't like the cookie cutter lifestyle.
Right.
And I really wish that would come back to the suburbs. It would be great that you go Walmart, Kohl's, Target, 10 miles, Walmart, Kohl's, Target, Starbucks. It's just over and over. And I think bringing your concept to the suburbs was going to be a great idea. It's going to have a great following. People will be happy that it's something unique and different. We go to Starbucks, like you said, out of convenience. It's not that great a coffee. It
Right.
really isn't.
Well, I think also my branding translates anywhere, and so that was part of the thing was that a lot of I'm not trying to say anything negative about any other coffee shops, but a lot of them are industrial, dark, and just wood tables with
Yeah.
dark,
Yeah.
this, and I was
So
like,
take the same look.
yes, and I was like, let's put a rainbow on it,
Yeah.
and let's
Bright
make it
and
bright
airy.
pink,
Yeah.
and let's liven it up. I want people to talk about coffee, and I want people to walk up and not be silenced when they walk in the door of everybody's working, hush,
Hush.
and then you're scared to order something because you don't really know what it is, and you don't want to ask questions, and you get shamed by the barista,
Mhm.
I did not want to create that atmosphere. I wanted it to be really approachable and fun.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, and I think
I
we
hope you
accomplished
keep that same idea in mind for the wine and beer situation.
Absolutely.
Yes, no pubs.
Same
Let's make
person.
a modern, cool.
Because Nicole
Yeah.
got shamed. So people may not know that Nicole, my wife, and Rusty were besties.
We were.
Yeah,
besties.
besties.
Yes.
In fact, I used to,
Yeah, definitely.
in the 300ZX that Nicole had, I sat in the room. I would sit in that little back thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a seat. I would squinch myself in this little trunk
I do
area
remember that.
while those two were in the front seat.
That's funny. We got all kinds of great stories. Rusty, I want to ask real quick. So, what are the handles? Where can we find you on social media? How do we get to Uncle Beans? When's the new location popping off? What's going on with that? Tell us, please.
Take those all.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
so,
one at a time. I threw a lot of questions at you because we're about to have some fun. I want to get you rep your business and get all this out there. Where can we find you? What can we
Uncle
do?
Beans Coffee, Houston Avenue. It's 3024 Houston Avenue in the Heights. Our website is unclebeanscoffee.com. Our Instagram is Uncle Beans Coffee, and then I just created the Cypress location. I haven't created a website for it, or I don't even think it comes up on Google yet, but you can go to Uncle Beans Coffee Cypress on Instagram, and there's a page created there.
Yeah, go follow.
So you can follow me there. Yeah.
We will have all that information in the description again, where you can find all the information about Rusty, her journey, and all her locations, handles, and all that. So, Nico, let's get with some funny stories now. Let's have some fun. Let's get the show. Rusty's her nerves are gone.
Are they?
Are they? I don't know. Are they not?
Everybody knows we do a segment where we do a Flashback Friday, and typically I'll tell a story. I have one. I was going to tell it, but I also like to see if the guests want to tell one. I'll open us up, and if you want to go with your story after that, then that would be fantastic, and even if you have more than one. But I don't know if you remember this situation. I took a picture to show you when we got here, but one time, we must have been 20. I must have been 21. You guys were definitely not drinking age,
19.
but y'all were drinking.
Did that matter?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And we went to the rodeo.
What's drinking age? What did that mean?
We went to the rodeo here in Houston, Texas, and I don't even remember who was playing or what, but me and another guy that we all know, Chad Threadgill, wanted to see if you and Nicole would kiss each other.
I totally remember this. I have pictures of this.
I did too.
So we're gonna get these pictures up.
This is what they said. You guys have to French kiss each other before we'll do it.
I think a lot of us got
Did me
conned
and Nicole
into that.
kiss?
Yes,
I
y'all
don't
did.
remember us kissing.
Yeah, y'all
I
did.
thought that
No,
we
the real
faked
question
it.
is did you kiss?
Yeah,
Y'all
I did.
kissed, but I thought me and Nicole did
Say
that.
it again. Now you're on camera. Say it again.
Chad, you're the only guy I've ever French kissed.
We love you, Chad.
Yeah, we
If
have
it would have
pictures
been
of it.
anybody.
I do have pictures of that.
Yeah, so that's my Flashback Friday. The only guy I've ever French kissed was so I could get Rusty and my wife to kiss,
We were best friends.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah,
I remember.
and I think you had a story that you wanted to tell us that Kevin remembers. I don't remember being there when this happened, but
I think Mikey was there, and I thought, really Beverly reminded me of it yesterday, and because I was trying to come up with some stories, and she's like, wait a minute, she had 10 right off the top of her head.
That's what we were saying, though. We could probably have 10,000 of these shows about all of our lives.
And then once we all start going, then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that time.
We
But
feed
it's
off of each other.
yeah, definitely. But when I'm trying to pinpoint something, but she brought up the fact that one day when my dad, we were all at my house hanging out after school or during school. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, y'all it might have been during school.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun at Rusty's house before and after school hours. Yes.
But we were all at my house, and what I like about this story is that it's one of the few stories where we weren't all just getting wasted, but it was just one of those brilliant ideas I had where
Brilliant.
I would switch out my room for the master bedroom. And so while my dad was at
Her
work,
dad's bedroom.
yeah, so I took my dad's bedroom, and I remember, like, I think I want to say it was like Mikey and Beverly. They came in, and I was like shimmying the mattresses between the hallway, and they're like, "What in the world are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm taking over the master bedroom," and they're like, "Your dad's gonna whoop your ass." And when my dad came home from work that day, I mean, I had everything set up, like all his clothes folded and put away, pictures hung on the wall.
Like everything fit? Like everything
I
fit
made it
normal?
all work, yeah. And he came home and went into his room, and I was like, no, that's not your room anymore. And I was like, let me show you your room. And then, like, walked him over to the
Was it because his room was bigger or because it had a bathroom or what was
because
this?
it had a bathroom and a walk-in closet. And I
Yeah.
figured, I think I was like 17 or 18, and that I was the female of the house, and that was mine.
That you were?
That I needed all that room, and that he didn't need that.
You deserved it.
I did. I had the clothes.
What did he say? Like, just...
He just kind of giggled, and he just was like, okay. And we lived that way for 2 years, and then my stepmom came
He let it ride.
He let it ride.
He let it ride.
Yeah.
Props.
That's a great dad.
I kept that
That's
room.
a great dad story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So
Absolutely.
that's just an example of my dad just constantly taking a beating for me. Like, being my dad was no small feat, that's for sure. I mean, as a teenager, I gave him hell.
A lot.
Yeah.
But your dad's probably one of the toughest men that I've ever met in my life. I mean, your dad's a tough guy.
Oh,
so
totally.
He could handle you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think anybody could handle me. Like, I ask him these days, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what were you thinking? And he's like, I couldn't control you. There was just nothing I could do. Like,
well, that says something because
beating,
your dad was in the Vietnam War, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken. So
Was he really?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
He
he
was-
was.
honestly seems too young to be in that war.
No,
My dad's
he's a
72.
veteran for real and was in the war, and he handled a lot of stuff over there. So I'm questioning if he couldn't handle you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
well,
awesome.
I mean, he also, killed over there, and he, outside of wanting to beat me, like, there wasn't really much else that,
That says something. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't
he showed
know
great
that.
restraint.
He did.
I did not know
And we thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Yes, he's a decorated Army Ranger. So
Yes, very high up in there, and did a lot of great things for the country.
yes, and it's been a lot of inspiration that sent my sister in that direction. So
Yeah. So this is Uncle Beans is a family affair. So
Yes.
y'all are with together all the time, correct?
yes, and so he's just retired for the second time. Yeah, second time. But he's going to work with us at the shop. And so he's pretty stoked. It's right around the corner. It's the Cypress location.
From where he lives?
Yeah. And
Okay.
so he's, he plans, I mean, he's already been very hands-on, but he plans on being, hands-on when we open as well.
Yeah.
I told him that, you'll probably be washing dishes or whatever. And he didn't like that.
Dad, come out of your second retirement so you can wash dishes over here.
I work with
That's
my
what I
dad.
ended up
I work
doing.
with my dad, so I know the complications, the ups and downs.
Yes.
It can be very great. It can be hard. And I've kind of gravitated to the boss of me and my dad's 50-50 partnership, and that can be rough. And I think that's kind of the same situation with you.
I think
Like,
everybody's
how are the
pretty much-
dynamics of that?
I'm the boss. And it's a lot easier if everybody just understands that.
Ooh.
But I mean, it's been kind of, yes, it sounds like I'm being like that, but it's just, there can only be one, and there has to be somebody to make the decisions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't take the input, I do, but I have to make the calls. And, I get challenged a lot on it, and I got challenged on the strike from everyone.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is
So
cool.
Yeah.
I have a question too. So your sister worked there for a while, and
Yeah,
we
I
talked
thought I saw
about-
her
I know
picture
you're
holding up.
really,
Yeah.
really proud of what she's
Yeah.
accomplished. So let's talk about her because she's been a great inspiration to you and to everybody, really.
So my sister is CJ, short for Cora Jane. She started there at 17. Now she's 19, and she just recently left Uncle Beans to join the Air Force.
Yes.
And so she just graduated boot camp, whatever the basic training, and now she's in Missouri doing her tech training. And then the world is her oyster, and she gets stationed Germany, Japan.
Oh, really? They're
Yeah.
going to send her abroad for
Yeah,
sure?
well, that's what she's going for.
Okay.
I mean, she might as well. I mean, if I had known what I was capable of doing, physically and mentally, then if I could redo it, I would totally do what she's doing. I mean, I think the Air Force, getting paid to go to school and getting paid to learn and to do all that and to serve your country is really freaking awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
And the experience that you get with that. So, I mean, my dad got drafted into Vietnam. His experience was way worse.
Was she inspired by that, or
absolutely?
What was her decision making on joining?
I don't really know. When she apparently, my parents say that she's talked about it since like she was little, but I don't really remember that. I know that I didn't have a great feeling about it whenever she first said, because of course it's like, dangerous, and so I was like, no, you should be a teacher, but that's just me being protective. But like, now that I see her in her role, like, it suits her very much.
Might be more dangerous to be a teacher, to be honest.
These days,
yeah.
There's an age gap between you and your sister.
Oh yeah, that's always fun to talk about.
Yes, is it or is it not?
No, it is.
Okay, so
thanks.
I'll talk about it. So there is an age gap, which I think is very important, because she's not just your sister. You've kind of been an aunt, a mother figure for her, and the story is very interesting. It's just great how the broad age difference, I guess I could say. I don't know.
No, definitely. We're all 11 years apart. So I'm the oldest. I'm going to be 42 in February. And
looking like she's 32.
Yes, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Hardly. I feel 52.
I think all of us feel 52.
At least.
My brother is 30, and my little sister, like I said, is 19. So I'm 22 years older than her. Obviously, we all have different moms. That tells you anything about my dad. And the moms are all about the same age. So the age never really changed.
Yeah.
You
didn't.
Not only a vet
for younger models, is what you're saying.
Not only a vet, a player.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all younger. Like, they're all.
Each one younger than the other one.
No, they're all like the same age. So even though it was 11 years later, it's still the same age as the other stepmom.
Okay.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like my stepmom and my ex-stepmom are the same age, and they're 10 years older than me. So, and then my mom was 10 years younger than him. So, but she's, that's a whole other episode.
I also wanted to, because I put it on our story, with all that you've got going on, I don't even know like where the concept came from or why you wanted to do something else, but you have like another business called the Rusti Hanger.
Oh yeah. So I put it on pause. So,
well, let's unpause it and tell us all about it, because I've been there before and it was totally cool. And
was it actually in a storefront? I didn't know.
So
tell us all about it.
Okay. So I'm into coffee. I'm doing coffee, but at the end of the day, my passion is vintage clothing.
Vintage clothing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's anything vintage, and so my dad and I both really got into just restoring furniture, finding antiques, and doing the whole estate sales and just the fun of vintage and antiquing. And so I had an opportunity to get the little space next to the Heights location, Uncle Bean's, and I was like, I'll make it an office. I'll do something with it. The sign was kind of the same way. The sign went up on a Friday, and by like Sunday, I'd signed the lease on it. And I was like, Dad, just believe in me. I'll figure something out. And so I started flipping clothing, but it was during the pandemic. But so they didn't want people to come inside, and I was doing an online business. But what people don't understand is that when you open a business, you're, especially in my position, I have a financial support backing from my uncle. I'm the last to get paid, and I get paid the least because I want to get him paid off obviously quicker.
That's kind of the story of being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And I'm in the same boat. I didn't pay myself for 3 years.
Yes.
So it's going to be rough. Everyone wants to own their own business until you own your own business.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great because you get to offer a job to other people. And there's a lot of weight on your shoulder, though, taking care of your workers and making sure that they eat. It can be very stressful.
It is. They come first, and so I mean, I'm totally okay with sacrificing because I can see the end game, But being able to do the Rusti Hanger definitely supplemented a lot of the income that I needed, especially because I moved into a new house.
So I've been to the Rusti's Hanger before, and it's really, really cool, all the vintage clothing you have. But also you allow other people in the community to come and display their other items and other storefronts and stuff. So it's kind of like
a co-op.
It's like a little market is what it is. It's very unique.
So it's a lot of fun. That was part of the thing, and I don't charge for those. So it's one of the things that irritates me is that me as a small business, I would try to take Rusty Hanger and go do other events, and I didn't mind paying $25-$40 to be at a location. You're paying for the space for the day, but now it can get up to $150. I mean, you're already negative, walking in the door for that. So at Uncle Bean's, I never charge for space when I let when we have markets and I allow local vendors to come over. Because I mean, we're all in the same boat, we're all just trying to make $1 and we're struggling and we're doing the hustle. So
where do you think honestly, like, the way you take care of that community and the things that you're doing, to kind of provide, service to the community and grace to the community, where does all that gratitude come from? Like,
it comes from years of guilt and shame. I mean,
but that's what's made us.
Yeah, it is.
Because we all have a similar story. So
definitely the history that I have and all the trouble I got into with my drinking that put me in the position of being in sobriety now, which I'm very grateful for.
7 years, a long time.
Yeah.
You've been an inspiration to me and my sobriety.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
that means a lot to me.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of you, and you have been an inspiration.
A lot of people ask, like, how do you do it? What do you do? What changed for you? And I can't give that answer to anybody. It's just it's very difficult to explain when
some people out there might have children that were similar, to all of us. And they may be thinking, like, I don't know when things are going to change. There might not be a sign. Like, you're sitting here saying, I don't know what it was.
Well, I know what it was. I mean, definitely, going to boot camp definitely scared me straight.
So you had to go to, like, a mandatory boot camp?
I did with my DWI. But what really got to me, because when I was there, I still said I was going to drink, and I still said, I just didn't ever register to me that I could have a life without drinking, and that because it's been ingrained in my family and in everything that we do socially.
I felt the same way. Like, when I stopped drinking, I didn't know what to do. I associated everything with alcohol. Like, if I was going to eat, I was where we were going to drink.
Right.
If I was going out, where were we going to get the drinks to go out? If I was going to a sporting event, where were we going to drink before, after?
Yes.
It kind of ran my life.
It did. It ran my life, and so like. What's crazy is before I went to boot camp, there was a moment before, like 2 days before, where I was just like so sick and tired, and the whole cliche saying being sick and tired. But I literally like begged God for something different, and then I got arrested. I totally was like thinking,
thank you, God,
Thanks,
because
God.
you produced a miracle.
And I immediately felt relief. Like, it was like a feeling of like something was bigger taking control.
When you got arrested?
Yes.
Wow.
And I knew something. I mean, when I sobered up.
Yeah.
But I knew that.
Yeah, I hate you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. I eventually was like, it's over. And that's just kind of dawned on me. But I still, like, even still going through the whole process, I thought I was still going to drink. And this girl said to me, and she's just like, she got some of my backstory, and like, we all know, like, I had a crazy childhood, crazy parents and all of that. But like, and I used that to fuel my drinking for all those years, and
as an excuse.
Yes. To act the way.
Or medication.
Right.
To deal with it.
Right. And so, I had a reason to behave the way that I behaved. And she's just like, well, God, I can't believe that you've gone through all of that, but like, you still want to drink. So like, why are you so weak?
Was this somebody that you knew outside, or somebody
in there?
In there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for her to call me weak, I just like was pissed. Oh. And I was super offended because she's telling me how strong I am. You've been through that, so why are you so weak when it comes to alcohol? Like, and I just like took that really, really personally, and it just kind of clicked that I was like,
so that might have been it.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was a trigger that I was like, I'm not weak. You're weak.
you
got super defensive.
You
right. And so,
but that's kind of how we think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so, and then I kind of saw that I was being a victim, and I was like, God, I don't want to be a victim. Like, I want to be somebody that because people were looking to me for the strength of like all the things that I went through, but then I had this like weakness, and it's true. And so I didn't want to have the weakness anymore. It was.
That's cool. Yes. I mean, I'm glad that it changed, because honestly, it sounds like you have been able to be a positive influence in the community, but not only Kevin saying that like you're an inspiration to him, but you just mentioned earlier, I mean, there's obviously people that have been reaching out to you.
Yes.
Because they know what you've come through, and they themselves may be going through something, and now they reach out to you for, for inspiration.
They do.
Yeah, and you're part of some women's clubs as well, and do some mentorship, right? Is that correct?
Not as much recently. I'd like to do more, and that's, as soon as I get the second shop open, then I'd like to get back into doing, like when I do the Rusty Hanger, we do proceeds donated to the women's fund of Houston. So I do try to do a lot of our if we're raising funds for anything, I try to get back to the women's in recovery.
Tell us about that program so the viewers can see that.
So it just depends on which one you pick. So there's, we've done Dress for Success, and that's where they get women back on their feet and give them clothing for to go back to interviews and to have like professional wear.
Women who are coming out of kind of alcohol.
It can be jail. It could be a bad relationship. It could be like an abusive relationship. Just women that are getting back on their feet again.
Okay.
And so that was a lot. Like I said, that was my original MO, was to really get back to my own community. But it kind of turned into animals.
To cats.
Yeah, it turned into animals.
Helping out the community obviously became a passion to you. Was that a substitute for drinking? And also, that you're not drinking now, what are some hobbies that you do for fun?
Well, but we don't. I want to get back real quick.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Because she didn't finish with the because you explained to us just now the one, but you didn't talk about the Houston one, right? Like you said, the Dress for Success, but what was
the other one is it's another one that just gets women back on their feet.
Okay,
yeah,
same.
They're all kind of the same.
Okay, right.
This Dress for Success is specifically clothing for
for job interviews.
Yeah. The other one can be like getting them into programs, getting them the toiletries and things that they need, getting them housing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and we'll share all that information too. So if you're watching and know someone that needs some help, they can find those programs.
Or if you want to maybe donate to those.
Yeah, or you could donate to the programs. The Hope Center is something that we support that's very similar, where the people can go in and shower, get jobs, use the internet, use the phone. And these are great resources. And life is tough, and it can be really hard to get back on your feet. And I think these programs are great. And I honor you and thank you for helping out in the community. It's really, really cool. Really cool.
So now back to, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Kevin.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure
You could cut me off. It's all good.
So you were saying...
I stumbled earlier, so I'm out right now. You guys can make fun of me after the show.
Oh boy!
Well, I do want to plug really quick.
Yes, plug everything you want.
We've been talking about all the programs that we that I help or work with. I definitely want to. Because we talked about the animals, but we haven't talked about the programs that we work with for them. So we do a lot of work with Special Pals, and they're a rescue organization. And obviously Bark, so adopt, don't stop.
Special Pals, Bark.
Yes,
okay.
And so go there.
Okay. What do those two do?
Oh, so Bark is through the city, and Bark will do assistance as far as like TNR, which is trap and release for cats, for like the cat colony that we're dealing with by Uncle Beans, where we're getting all the cats fixed and then they release them back, but at least they're not overpopulating anymore.
Yes.
And then
they do that with dogs as well.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to call those people and ask for that assistance, because the overbreeding of animals can be very dangerous, and they don't have a very long lifespan.
It's sad.
So they will come out and neuter and re-release the cat into the neighborhood, and cats a lot of times can survive on themselves. So this is a good program. It really is.
Yes.
And
then the other one is Special Pals, and they're I think they're located in Katy. I'm not real positive about that, but they come out to the shop a couple times, and they're a rescue. They foster and rescue. I think mostly dogs, but they do cats as well. And we've worked with them several times, so they're just really great groups to they always need help. And if you're donating for a cause, and you want to do something for our furry friends, go to those pages. And then also
please do.
Or if you're looking for a furry friend, especially for the holidays,
furry friend,
probably just contact me.
Yeah. So she may have a furry friend for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Already picked out and trained.
Yes.
Yeah, trained.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to plug or talk about that's important to you? Some causes?
No.
You got it all?
I think we went over it. I will be bringing Rusty Hanger back once I find. I want to find a location that I can people can come inside.
Yeah.
That's obviously.
Do you think it'll be down there in the Heights, or you think it'll be?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I've looked at a couple of spaces, but I mean, if it were up to me, like, I want to do a vintage shop. I want to do a pizza wine bar. I want to do 7 coffee shops. I had to have my family tell me to slow my roll.
Yeah.
So if I'd only gotten sober like 20 years ago.
Oh no, she would have ran the world.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe it. I believe it. What's your sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Tell us about being an Aquarius and why that's successful to you, or do you even believe in that?
I do believe in
I thought
it
you did.
somewhat. You know, I don't put too much stock in it, but I do. I know that there's traits that I identify with when it comes to, you know, being an Aquarius. I mean, they refer to them as, you know, being creative and free spirited, and I have to tend to agree with that. Yeah.
Well, tell us where your motivation comes from and how you are so successful. Like, what drives you besides the family, and where does your motivation
And the
come
sense
from?
of
What are you
gratitude,
doing on a
the sense
daily
of-
day? The gratitude. Tell us about it.
Oh God, definitely God.
Yes,
Because God
God.
is the one that answered that prayer. You know, and my dad, you know, like, and I've already mentioned that, but like, you know, he really motivates me, and he's so proud of me, and just like knowing from where I came from, like just to keep that.
Man, he never gave up on you.
He never gave up on me, and I gave him every reason to. So, you know, that doing it for my dad is big, and then like doing it for the community is huge. Doing it for myself, you know, like just being able to live, you know, and to experience some things that like I'm regretful, but I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to do these things now, you know, and I'm super aware of it. And so, I mean, believe me, it's a balance, you know, like I'm go all the time, but I also have to have a day of just like Netflix, you know, and like really at the end of the day, like I feel bad because of you guys. I don't see as often as I'd like to, but I have to get back to I am busy. And then I choose myself, you know.
Let me ask you this.
To.
So obviously we know you're a powerful woman, powerful entrepreneur. Do you have any advice to other women that are trying to start their own business during COVID? A lot of people got laid off. Do you have any inspiration to them, or words of encouragement of
I don't know if they're encouraging.
But being an entrepreneur, you have to put yourself out there. So tell us some words of encouragement so people that are aspiring and maybe have gone through some hard stuff, and what they can do to get to where you're at, you know?
I mean, you can't give up on your dreams, you know, and you've got to be able to bend with the times, you know. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Watching people really suffer during the pandemic while we thrived, you know, was difficult. But I saw a lot of businesses that could do something different to appeal to work around what the situation was. Yeah. And I just try to think if it was us, I mean, we were fortunate. We never had to shut down once. Oh, wow. And, you know, but if we were put in that situation, I mean, we made a list of all the things that we would do differently to be able to, you know, slang the coffee or whatever we had to do.
Slang the coffee.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, and if it ended up being that we had to get a pizza oven and deliver pizzas, we were going to do it. We were going to figure out, like, you know, whatever we had to do. If we had to go buy boxes of Shipley's donuts and deliver it, we would have just done it. So there's always a way. There's just always a way, you know, and just don't be scared to try it.
There's always a way.
Yes.
So I did want to ask, this is maybe a silly question. Somebody who's a novice to coffee. I mean, I like coffee, but like within the coffee community, you're not well, I guess would you be a chain if you had like 4 or 5 locations?
I guess I aspire to be,
okay.
You know.
So my thought is like right now, do you call yourself like in that community as coffee people? Do they call it like, are you indie? Are you an indie coffee place? You know, like is there a label for it?
I think
emo.
I think that when people look at my branding, that I've actually been like, what do you call it? Shocked by roasters that I wanted to serve their coffee, but they were too cool. And they came to our place, and
really?
I guess they thought we were too, like, you know, kitschy or whatever, that we weren't cool enough to, I know. But it is because we are appealing to families, and because we have the bright, you know, and family-friendly oriented branding that we weren't hip enough for them, and it can be just like, I would compare it a lot to being in the bar industry where when craft beer became like a big deal, and like, if you ordered a Bud Light when you got an IPA on tap and you weren't interested in that, well, the bartender looked at you like you're an idiot, and like the coffee industry can be that way. They can be really snobby.
Yeah.
I think, we sell really great coffee. We use Amaya in our espresso. And we have
What is that,
Amaya?
Amaya?
Amaya is a local coffee roaster, and
Okay.
they do great things, and they make
Majority
really
of the
great
stuff
coffee.
that you source at Uncle Bean's is locally sourced,
Yes,
right?
it
And you're
is.
really proud of that.
Yes, absolutely. So we bring in other coffee. We like to feature another coffee roaster probably monthly. And so, because, I feel like you should be able to try different things. And
Just because I don't know, probably nobody knows this wider than this. What is it? What's the difference in roasters? Like,
So we got to get real basic for Nico.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he understands Nico. Do you understand what a K-cup is and a Keurig? The Keurig cup?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so like,
Dude.
Rusty explains what coffee and roasting is for Nico and all our guests.
Well,
that
just
are
like,
not
like, are all the roasters getting the same beans, or they have different beans?
Sometimes
Okay.
there's different grades of beans, and then it's about the roasting profile. So again, about with like light, medium, dark. A lot of the traditional roasters tend to go on the darker side. And
Why?
Because that was one of
Nicole
those
thinks
cool,
that's
like,
stronger.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's true.
I
I
don't
think
think it is. I think the lighter the coffee, or the blonder the bean, the stronger the coffee. Am I correct?
Yes. So a lighter roast is going to be stronger than a darker roast.
That's confusing.
Yes, it is, but
Yeah, because
interesting.
They
the dark,
market it that
the
way.
dark
like
seems
the dark
like
would be better.
kerosene, and
Yeah,
you're
no,
saying,
no,
yeah,
you're
it's
like,
supposed to be strong.
this tastes like tar.
Yeah,
I'm
I
really
love it
gonna
when
get
it's
it.
real bold because it's got so much
Right.
caffeine.
Right. No, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, look, babe, I told you.
Yeah, we learned stuff. This is an educational program.
It very is. We've learned a lot.
We don't
about
know
coffee.
jack. That's why we bring people in who do.
I know a little bit about
I
coffee.
know nothing.
Neither do I know jack.
Well, I didn't know as much as coffee is like wine, and it's crazy. There's just so much to learn, and you wouldn't think it from the outside. And when you get into it, there's a lot of science in coffee. A lot of science. I mean,
Yeah.
we measure our shots, and we dial in the coffee every day to a certain weight. And
Would you
decimal
compare it to
and
beer
time.
and the checks and balances to make sure it's consistent? Because they
I
do a
would
lot of
say
that with
it's-
alcohol as well. I think
I would
it's
say
just
there's
as,
a lot more freedom in beer than there is in the coffee. Coffee
Yeah.
is a more
Wow.
fine-tuned to the
I believe
science.
so.
Yeah.
It really is. And coffee's very versed. I'm into some Turkish blend right now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we bought the little cool Turkish thing that we
Yeah.
make our espressos in. That's kind of what we're into. Do you know anything about that, or?
We don't do it, but
Yeah.
like we grind for it.
Yeah.
If somebody has if they do the Turkish blend at
Yeah.
home, then we can grind your coffee for it. So
Yeah, we
you
got
can
this
take
cool
our coffee
little
and do a Turkish
like
blend.
thing, and I end up usually making a mess out of it because it overflows. It's
Oh,
real
yeah.
small, but I don't know.
It's
It's been
fun.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think we're probably coming up against it.
Yeah, we're coming up about 57 minutes. So
I
again,
want Rusty to be able to just one more time plug and promote Uncle Beans. I know they heard it in the beginning. We're going to give them the information, but where can they find you?
So Uncle Bean's Coffee in the Heights, 3024 Houston Avenue, and then our new location that should be coming. It could come tomorrow, but we're working with the county and the county.
Permits,
the
yeah.
permit situation. We're in review right now, so it could come up any day. But
Where's that at?
and that's at 12105 Jones Road.
Okay.
So in between 1960 and Luetta. So
Okay.
it's a really great neighborhood over there, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of that community. It's going to be fun.
Okay, and then what are the handles, so to speak, as the kids say?
So just Uncle Bean's Coffee is our handle on Instagram,
Okay.
and then Uncle Bean's Coffee Cypress is the
Yeah.
one for Cypress location.
Go follow
Yeah.
Bove
yes, go
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have all the information.
and the Rusty Hanger, so that
Yeah,
when she
thanks for all the
resurrects
Rusty
that.
Hanger.
Yeah.
And I still buy vintage. I'm addicted, so I've got an issue. Like I'm really like.
I got a closet full of clothes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I guess not to like go back into something, but there's warehouses that. So I don't know if y'all know this, but like for me to buy in vintage, like I buy in bulk. Is that time?
You're good.
Okay, it's you go to warehouses and go at like 7 a.m. and you dig through. Like I have pictures. It's insane. It's these like they're probably about 2 stories tall of clothes that are like vacuum sealed together, and you pick them out and you do by the pound.
My mouth is like.
I'll show you a picture. It's really, really wild.
When you resurrect the Rusty Hanger, you got to come back on.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah, and we actually probably need to get some video that we can show.
Yes, the
of
high
that.
of scoring 75 pounds of clothes for $600 is like
I want
nothing
some.
like
I
it.
want some teal vintage boots.
Oh,
Can
I just sold some.
Oh.
I really did.
What
They were
size?
women's. They were women's, but they were
I'll
teal.
I'll squeeze in.
Yeah.
We can wear them.
Squeeze in there. Rusty, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
We've been
Thank
looking
you.
forward to this so much. You were
Great.
one of our guests that we had pre-planned long in advance. Your story is so inspirational. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You deserve everything that you're getting. Your success, I hope, continues to grow. I hope you have a million Uncle Beans, and
Me
we
too.
forget the word Starbucks. So thank you again for coming on the show, Nico. Let's take us out and give Rusty a little more props, and we're done for the day.
Yeah, well, obviously we wanted to have her on, so we're really appreciative. It's been a long time since we've seen you.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
great.
I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, I don't even know when the last time was we saw
It's
each
been
other.
a few years,
Yeah.
several.
Yeah.
So
But I can't always make it down to the Heights. I can make it to Cypress,
Yes.
and Nicole and I are looking forward to going to visit y'all at the Cypress location.
Yes.
So we're stoked about that. Thanks everybody for watching, listening. If you're just putting it on audio, we hope that you subscribe. We hope that you find the Jack Show interesting. We're bringing in all the guests to kind of tell what's going on locally here in Houston. Last thing, I just do want to say this again. If you hadn't had a chance to go see Matt's story, go back, catch it on the YouTube page. You'll see we've cut it down, shortened version. We'll probably do a shortened version of part of this too.
Yes,
Right?
we will.
So that'd be good. Thank you to Ace Office Studios.
Thank you. And guys, like and subscribe. We'll have edited versions of Rusty's video as well with all the information. We appreciate all the support. And if you're interested in being on the show and you're a local Houstonian, this is the platform that we're
Hit us
here
up.
for. We're here to boost Rusty's business and let her tell her story. So if you think you have an interesting story, you can check us out at www.wedon'tknow.com. It's not J-A-C-K, we don't know Jack.com.
We're working on Facebook. We're working on Instagram.
Yes.
We'll have those up soon and have information there. Maybe some clips of some old stories.
Correct. And we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you guys next Friday.